All right. Hi, everybody. Miss Becky here from the Upper Merion Township Library. I'm coming here with you today to do a little book talking. Miss Laura did some yesterday, so book talking is just where we tell you a little bit about some books that you might be interested in reading. We're focusing on children's books, and then if you like how a book sounds, you can look into reading it yourself. All of the books that I'm going to talk about today are available as ebooks and or audiobooks on our library website. So if you're not familiar with using that system, now's a great time to use it. All you need to get onto it is your library card number, and then you can borrow any of the ebooks or audiobooks we have there. And if you don't have a library card, you can also contact the library through our Facebook page or our website, and we're helping people get set up with library cards so they can borrow. But if you go to the library's website, there's a section that says ebooks. You can click that, and that'll take you right to Overdrive, which is our ebook platform. Or there's an app you can download right on your phone. It's called Libby. It's really easy to use. And once you download it, I have it here. I'm listening to an audiobook right now, so you can see that that's up there. But once you have it, you can actually just go into our library page and scroll through new books that are added or search for something that you're looking for. So it's a really great way to still keep reading during these times, even when you can't come into the library, unfortunately. So I'm going to be talking a little bit about some of either my favorite books or new books that are out, or just some good children's books that you might be interested in. So let's get started. The first book that I have here that I'm going to talk about is called get the glare off there, Wayside School Beneath the Cloud of Doom. So if you were listening to our read aloud last week, you know that we read through all of Sideways Stories from Wayside School, which is the first in the Wayside School series. There was 3 books written in that series, Sideways Stories from Wayside School, Wayside School is Falling Down, and Wayside School Gets a Little Stranger. The first one was published in 1978, and then the last one in the trilogy was in 95. So it's been a really long time since we've had a new Wayside School book, but this one just came out. So it's brand new, but the same characters you know and love. I'll read a little bit about just the inside flap here to give you an idea. So it says, "Welcome back to Wayside School. Your favorite students and teachers have been waiting for you. That includes Sherry, who loves her striped and spotted umbrella more than anything, Kathy, who has a bad case of oppositosis, Jason, who has to read the longest book in the world, and the rest in Mrs. Jewell's class on the 30th story, who are busily collecting toenail clippings. They all need to prepare for the ultimate test, despite the cloud of doom looming above them." So if you enjoyed reading those stories that we had last week, you might be interested in reading these ones now. Very similar setup of little short story chapters. And there's also, just to get you started, there's a good little note from the author that's done in his comedic style that I want to read to you from this book. So a note from the author. "This is the 4th book about Wayside School. I wrote the first one, Sideways Stories from Wayside School, more than 40 years ago. I'm a lot older now, but in my heart, I'm still Louis, the yard teacher, passing out the balls and playing with the kids at recess. To fully enjoy this book, you should read the other 3 first, wait 40 years, and then read this one. Or you can just read it now." So if you are interested in reading it now, we have the ebook copy up on Overdrive. Make sure you check that out. And just one note about our ebooks as well. They're usually limited to 1 copy per person at a time. So if you see that the book you want is checked out, you can just be put on a wait list just like you would for a physical book. And then it should automatically be downloaded, and you'll get an email once that book is there and available for you. So if there's anything you see on there that you want but you can't read it right away, make sure you get on that waiting list so that you can get that book. All right. So that's a good one. I actually haven't read this one yet, but I have it here, so I'm going to be reading that very soon because I'm excited for that one. All right, and that one, by the way, if you hadn't been listening to our stories, it's a really great elementary school read, but honestly, it's good for all ages. It's a great read aloud if you have like a range of ages in your family and you want something to read to them at night before bed. Very funny, silly stories that honestly a lot of adults I know enjoy too. So a great option. All right. The next book I have here that I want to talk to you about is called The Wednesday Wars by Gary D. Schmidt. Now, this is a middle grade novel. I'd say probably more upper middle grade. It has a lot going on, so maybe like 7th, 8th, 6th grade. But the main character in the book is 7th grade, so it's a good one for that. It does have a lot of interesting things, complex things. So even with a younger character, I think it would be a good book for high schoolers as well if they're interested. So let me just read the flap first, and then I'll talk a little bit about this book. The main character is called Holing Hood. Holing Hood is really in for it. He's just started 7th grade with Mrs. Baker, a teacher he knows is out to get him. Why else would she make him read Shakespeare outside of class? The year is 1967, and everyone has bigger things to worry about, especially Vietnam. Then there's the family business. As far as Holing's father is concerned, the Hoods need to be on their best behavior. The success of Hood and Associates depends on it. But how can Holing stay out of trouble when he has so much to contend with? Rats for one thing, cream puffs for another. Then there's Doug Switek's brother. And Ariel's costume, tights. That's just for starters. In a series of mishaps and adventures over the course of the school year, fate sneaks up on Holing again and again. So this is a historical fiction novel. Like it said, it takes place in 1967. And if you know anything about the time period at that point, you know there's a lot of stuff going on. The Vietnam War was a major thing. The assassination of Robert Kennedy happens in this book. So there's a lot of interesting historical stuff going on. But Holing is also a very funny character. So the way that he deals with everything is entertaining. And like it said, he's being forced to read Shakespeare, and he actually ends up in a performance of, I believe, A Midsummer Night's Dream. And he doesn't want any of his schoolmates to find out about it. So that's kind of funny. So if you also like theater, this is a great choice for theater kids. But in addition, Holing's really interesting because the reason why he doesn't want people to know is because he's a sports person too. So he's really into baseball. So it's kind of got something for everybody. Just really, really well written. Everything that Gary D. Schmidt has written, I've really enjoyed. An older book, Lizzie Bright and the Buckminster Boy, was a Newbery Honor book that he wrote. So if you like historical fiction, I would really, really recommend this one, especially for older middle school students. Okay. All right. And the next book I have here is a classic, one of my favorites from childhood, and that is Frog and Toad. The copy that I have here is a treasury that has several different Frog and Toad titles in it, but we also have an audiobook collection on Overdrive that has many of the stories that you can listen to, which is great. It's a good, easy reader level if you have kids that are starting to read on their own and want something to read that they can handle themselves, and it also makes a really good read aloud. My copy of the book has fun pictures throughout it, illustrations, and you can kind of see the level of writing there. So kind of maybe a level 2 or 3 easy reader. So let me just read you a little bit about this. So you have the history of this. Readers first met Frog and Toad over 25 years ago and instantly fell in love with these two extraordinary characters. Since publication, books about these two lovable friends have won numerous awards. Meet Frog and Toad as they discover the true meaning of friendship. The adventures continue throughout the year as Toad makes a special Christmas Eve dinner. But where is Frog? But whether they're in Frog's garden or Toad's house, on the mountain, or even in Toad's unusual dream, Frog and Toad are always best friends. And so it's a whole bunch of collections of different stories. Most of them have a good little message to them. Some of them are funny. I remember a bunch that I would read over and over again as kids. So this is another great choice if you're just looking for something to share with younger kids and want something that they can maybe start to read on their own as well. So can't go wrong with Frog and Toad. All right, and then there is one more book today that I'm going to talk about. This one is called The Westing Game. This is an older one. It's a Newbery Award winner, which the Newbery Award is given out for an American title that has significant literary merit to it. So very well written book. But one of the great things about this book is that it is a mystery book. So there's a lot to take in and kind of think about and try to figure out while you read it. It's a good one, I would say, definitely middle school, but also probably late elementary, especially if they're interested in sort of like mysteries and puzzle type games. 4th, 5th grade, this could be good for if they're good readers and interested in that sort of thing. But also 6th, 7th, 8th grade would be good as well. So let me read you the description on the back. Where there's a will, there's a way, and Sam Westing has left quite a will. One fateful day, 16 people gather for the reading of the very strange will of the very rich Samuel W. Westing. To their surprise, the will turns out to be a contest, challenging the heirs to find out who among them is Westing's murderer, and the winner may become a millionaire. Forging ahead through blizzards, burglaries, and the attacks of a mad bomber, the race is on. Only 2 people hold all the clues. One of them is a Westing heir. The other one is you. So this is a fun one to read along and see if you can figure it out as you go. There's also, in addition to just like the big overall mystery that you're trying to solve, there's a lot of little puzzles and things to figure out as you go too. So that can be really fun. Something that you could do with this book too is if you have maybe multiple kids in the family that could read this book, or even just a parent and child or a guardian that want to both read it at the same time. This makes a really good discussion book if you read a couple of chapters at once. Both take like, a couple days or a week and read a certain amount and then get together and talk about it. You can do your own little at-home book club. Very interesting to see what other people think about the book so far and the mystery and what they've figured out, and talk about what you figured out. So there's a lot that you can do with this book. Really excellent, lots to think about, kind of good to get the mind engaged as well. All right, so those are 4 books that I brought to you today that I think would be fun books for you to read while you're at home. And again, make sure you check out either Overdrive on the library's website or the app Libby to find those books as ebooks or audiobooks. And take a look at what else we have over there too, because we've really been trying to kind of bulk up our collection of ebooks and audiobooks during this time. So hopefully you can find something that interests you. So that's it that I have to share for today. Tomorrow, we're going to be doing some book talking, introducing you to new books for the rest of the week. Tomorrow, Miss Laura is going to do that again at 2 o'clock. I'm also going to do a story time with picture books for the younger kids at 10:30 tomorrow morning. So I will see everybody back again then. If you're looking for more book talks, then tune in tomorrow at 2 o'clock with Miss Laura. All right, hope everybody's doing well out there. Have a great day and enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Bye.